Britain used to put people in prison for blasphemy. And now, just 15 years after repealing that law, the government is attempting to sneak it back in through the back door with an Islamophobia law. And last week, after a huge outcry, they decided to soften their definition. So now they're talking about anti-Muslimness. It's the instinct to police offence. Now, under the old law, if you questioned the Bible, you mocked the Church of England, you even printed a poem about Christ, you could end up in court. And that carried on for centuries until we finally grew up. I think the life of Brian might have killed it off eventually. But what it meant was that millions of Christians, Catholics, Jews, Hindus, Sikhs, and even Muslims had to suck it up when their religion was questioned or ridiculed. We were all equal under the law. In 2008, when Parliament abolished that offence of blasphemy in England, Wales and Scotland, they followed in 2021, it was meant to be a line in the sand. That faith was personal, it was a free belief, and speech didn't need to be protected when it covered any of those subjects. It meant you could argue with priests, you could protest outside churches, you could even say religion was completely nonsense and you'd be free from the law. But with this definition, it's creeping back, and it actually has been for some time. The rebranding of the Labour Party's Islamophobia definition blurs the line between criticising ideas and hating people. But the new idea isn't any different, really. The new words aren't any different. It's just softer for the press. And in reality, I think it will be used to do the same thing. Officials say that the new term will focus only on hostility to individuals, except every censorship law in history started with, "Don't worry, it's just about hate." The last successful blasphemy prosecution in the UK was in 1977, the Gay News versus Whitehouse case. And in short, the case was about a gay newspaper being prosecuted for publishing a poem about Christ that was deemed blasphemous. It was really the last time anybody was convicted for blasphemy. Mary Whitehouse had a fit, bought a private prosecution and won the case. The case was heavily criticised as censorship, and it was seen out of step with modern Britain. The UN calls blasphemy laws incompatible with freedom of expression. So the Labour government, which won't go against any of the other UN bonkers ideas, has suddenly decided to deviate on this one. Don't you think that's a bit odd? About 70 countries still have them, including Pakistan, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Nigeria, Sudan, Afghanistan. And in some of those, of course, they have the death penalty. Has Britain really decided to go back there? Really? Really, that's where we're going? The fact that we're even considering it should horrify you, because think about it. While others are trying to climb out of the dark ages, Britain's inching back, just with using softer language. And it isn't what the majority want. It isn't what the majority would ever vote for. But under Labour, the majority doesn't seem to count, does it? We already live in a make-believe of free speech anyway. Don't think for a minute that you have it, and we've discussed it before. We have hundreds of laws that police words and behaviour. Things like the Public Order Act, Part 3, is stirring up racial or religious hatred. See, it's covered there. The Communications Act 2003 has grossly offensive online messages covered. The Malicious Communications Act, same thing. Protection from Harassment Act, the Equality Act, the Online Safety Act, all work together to prevent hatred. Add in local council bylaws, school speech codes, professional standards, and you've got easily easily over 200 laws and levers used to prevent free speech in this country. The words anti-Muslimness does nothing except add another way of criminalising opinion. There's no anti-other law, is there? I mean, there's no anti-Christianity, anti-Catholicism, anti-Hinduism, even anti-Jehovah's Witness. Nope, they can all be ridiculed nightly on television, mocked in art galleries and in universities, satirised on stage. No one gets a knock at the door from the police for doing that. We've arrested street preachers. Some councils have even banned them handing out leaflets. Nurses have been disciplined for praying with patients. Old ladies for praying in their heads outside clinics. Employees have been ordered to remove crucifixes that they wear around their neck, and other religious symbols are accommodated. And we call that inclusion. So if every other faith can be examined, questioned, even vilified with impunity, why should we wrap one in legal bubble wrap? Because the term anti-Muslimness isn't defined in law. It will fall to the police, the councils and the HR departments to decide what it means. And in practice, it will absolutely mean that if you criticise a doctrine and someone claims offence, that word is the important word these days, or you quote scripture that conflicts with modern policy, that will be a hate incident. Let's say you satirise extremism or you show a cartoon. Well, that could be a prejudice investigation. Even if the charges never stick, as you know, the process is the punishment. The reports, the police, the interviews, the warnings, the social media bans, and then being fired from your job. Even asking questions, even commenting on, say, something like halal meat. Would that be a crime? Maybe it would be under this because it seems like it's going to be very subjective. And the result of all of this is just meant to shut you up. That's all. Just shut you up. Real equality means the same rule for everybody. And that doesn't mean introducing more laws. It actually means having fewer. Protect people from violence and harassment. Yes, of course, we have lots of laws that do that already. I don't think it's right or free to protect beliefs from disagreement. It's human to debate and disagree. It's normal. It should be the foundation of democracy because beliefs are just ideas, right? And ideas live or die in the open in an argument. And if you have faith, then faith is tested often. It doesn't need to be protected. That's how Christianity survived. It's how science grew. It's how democracy breathes. When the state starts deciding what ideas can't be criticised, it isn't protecting minorities, it's protecting power. Britain already tiptoes around offence, and the more we censor, the more fearful we become of our own words. We abolished blasphemy because we understood that faith doesn't need policing. Truth can stand on its own. Have faith. It's what your religion is all about. Free speech is messy, uncomfortable, sometimes offensive, and you have little of it in the UK, regardless of what Starmer says, because that is the price of liberty. Do you want a blasphemy law? Do you not see it as a blasphemy law at all? Do you see it as just protecting people? Let me know. Comment, like, subscribe, share. We'll do it again.